Hello and welcome back to the ACSC Podcast. Thank you all again for the support last week. If you haven't gone check the video out, have a look. We sort of discuss our future England under 23 squad, and I think a recurring theme is whatever player we sort of big up seems to have a massive impact the week after. Luke Shaw was a massive shout last week, and he's freaking tore United City apart at the weekend. But you probably noticed by now, there's only two of us back. So I think the first time in a good few weeks, it's just me and Wazza back on the podcast. And I'll pass you over to the co-host now.
Good evening, guys. How are we? Right, tonight I think we're going to go through a few things new to us. Probably we'll be going through, just hopefully in a couple of weeks, I start streaming. We do a bit more content on FIFA or Warzone, and hopefully get a bit more content for you guys.
Definitely. There'll be a link up above us with Wazza's gaming page, etc. So it's a big step for him. I'll probably try and make an appearance on a few of the Warzones if I can. Stuff like that. But no, I think it's a good thing. And I think sort of linking it into your discussion there, I think the first topic we can discuss, and we are recording this on the Wednesday, so this is obviously coming out Friday, but pretty big news today from the world of FIFA. Obviously EA, and I think it's being called EA Gate on Twitter, is I think I've only seen bits, so you can elaborate a bit further, but from what I've seen is you've got a few rogue EA agents around where they're now selling prime icons. I think it's the ones is Ronaldo, Hullet, and I can't remember the other one, where it's something like €1,200. And I think it's crazy, like €1,200 for free cards, and I think you get 2 team years as well. But obviously, this is pretty damaging for EA. All this coming out.
Obviously, what I've seen of it, which was hilarious, is I don't know. Obviously, there was one screenshot on Twitter of one person texted EA and straight away come back to him saying, well, if we put you into a private chat, we can sort you out. Which,
and obviously, you're going to have these people saying it's fake, etc., etc. And I get it, but there seems to be too much evidence sort of coming out straight away about this. And I think there's obviously you've got a lot of the big sort of FIFA content creators, like we've mentioned, like Matt HD's getting involved with this. You've got the Penfez. People like this sort of getting traction involved with this just sort of makes me think there isn't a reason why this would be fake.
No, like obviously we spoke before we start recording this. Like they were saying, and Cal from SAF straight away said if it wasn't real, they wouldn't be retweeting it or even having their input on this subject, because it ain't going to do them any good, and it's going to be found.
No. And I think overall, I think this year has been a really strange year. Obviously, we're both avid FIFA players. I think if you guys have probably worked that out by now. Obviously, Tom is as well. And I think it's one of them damaging things that this year was meant to be a really sort of breakthrough year for FIFA after a long, long time. And I think it just seems to be disappointment after disappointment at the moment. Obviously, the patches they keep doing seem to be making the game slower and worse. Obviously the packs this year, everyone's sort of saying about weekend league is a massive thing that is so sort of not really worth the amount of effort that goes into it for the rewards. And obviously people are always now stopping at gold 3. Something I think needs to happen with EA to sort of give them a kick up the arse. But it's hard to see. I don't know if you've seen it, like this new promo they've got on this player days. Have you seen how quick these 2-for-1s are selling out?
They're just going to go rapid, aren't they?
It's literally within 30 seconds they're going, and there's like 100,000 of these, and the 2,000 FIFA points a pop. I think 2,000 FIFA points is it about
2,000, about 15 quid, somewhere out.
So 15 quid times 100,000 within 30 seconds. EA are not going to change until people stop buying into their effectively shit. It's one of them. I'll have to try and find the figures properly, but I remember seeing EA's profits over the last 4 years have literally just quadrupled every year. And I think it's a hard thing because we're always buying into their FIFAs, but where do you draw the line?
It's one of those things we all know ourselves. Is it Belgium they did it to, or Holland? They banned
the FIFA points.
Yeah,
Belgium banned them.
So technically, have they still got Ultimate Team?
So they still have Ultimate Team. You can still buy the packs via like in-game coins, but you have no form of buying them via FIFA points.
Which is one of those things. I think any way you go about it, you're buggering yourself no matter what. If it means obviously you can't buy with money, people are just going to buy coins. It's always going to keep carrying on. I think EA just need to be a bit more generous of it. It's what they actually give out, because you can spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds and literally get nothing.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a big thing for today is I watch, I don't know if you know AA9 Skills. I don't know if you've seen him on YouTube. So he's a massive FIFA content. He's based in America, but I'd say like he's the equivalent of the likes of Matt HD and Pieface, sort of massive names in the UK. I've watched him for years. He does always the Road to Glory, and he's literally ended his pretty much announcement yesterday because he's saying there is nothing for me to do anymore. He was saying they've literally saturated the game into this whole SBC sort of environment that you have to do SBCs to have any form of a Road to Glory. There's no incentive to sort of play the game anymore. And I think for me, like this year, I've barely played a lot of FIFA. I think I played in small terms, I think I played like 250, 300 games. That's nothing compared to what I used to do. Like we always discuss it, we have a group chat, but I virtually do SBCs and that's it. Because I don't see an incentive to play the game anymore. Weekend League is boring. I literally get, if I ever do, I get to gold 3 and I stop because there's no point. Because you know you're going to end up getting a freaking 75 rated and a lucky 82. It's just, there's no, say for like that average gamer, there's nothing there anymore. There's no reward out of it.
It's like, even now, obviously, with this week's coming out, I've looked at it and there's not one player that can actually upgrade my team. It'd just be all fodder. Yeah.
It's one of them that, like, I don't know if it's not the content team, but you look at some of these people on Twitter. I follow some of these accounts, like, I can't remember some names, but where they put these promo ideas up. And some of them, if they just actually brought them in, could make such a difference to the game. Like I saw one today where it was like I think it's called like All or Nothing promo, where you choose, very similar to the things they do with the showdowns, but you get, I think it was Caballos and Lo Celso for the upcoming North London derby, and they were both upgraded to 85. If, say, Arsenal won, Caballos will go up by 5, and Lo Celso would go down by 5. So it's an all or nothing. And I think if you've done something like that for a lot of players, it's that incentive to go to make players more sort of usable. You look at it again straight away this year, you've got the meta. It's all about the meta. You need to make it a sort of level playing field where everyone can sort of use cards they want.
You look at it, it's like one of those things. EA giving up. They don't care because they know every year so they buy a copy of it and spend money on it. It's like how many millions of people play FIFA?
No, yeah, agreed.
What if they now we've got to deal with? There's no such as, like you hear from a lot of the content creators. Apparently, they have. I don't know if they have any influence on it of getting feedback, but EA still don't do anything about it.
No. I think it's one of them is, I think, you know what, fair dues to someone. I think I'll watch a bit, and I think you like him as well as Pieface. I do not know how he has got the patience to sit there and sort of build the amount of content he has to. Like those player pick things, they take an age to do. Yeah, he's bashing out. And, you know, fair play to people like him who sort of stuck with it and is getting the rewards from it. But and I think, you know what, we're talking about EA a lot. EA are not the only ones responsible in this sort of thing. Obviously, another big game I like playing is Warzone. And they've got their own issues as well. Obviously, very similar situations to EA where you don't get rewarded and it's all about a meta. But it's an ongoing conversation. I think today is just blown up massively in EA's face. And I think someone sort of set it up is it's either going to be the best day for EA or the worst day, because they can spin this two ways.
I honestly, I don't know, like I said to you earlier, I don't think they're even comment on it. And it's one of those things we when watching Cal at SAF earlier, it could mean if they find out and investigate, obviously, who's been doing it, as such as buying the coins or getting the players off that agent, and they're going to having their players taken away, and they've literally lost all that money.
The thing is, you can't. And the thing is, it'll be interesting to see how many people have brought into it, because it's a lot of money.
Wow, apparently there has been a pro player making accounts and asking EA to, obviously, because they get all the top players, and then selling that account and making another one.
It's crazy the amount of money you actually think goes into this sort of side of things. Like £1,200 for effectively 5 players in a virtual game.
Yeah. It's money that can go straight away. Like I had a friend probably 4 or 5 years ago now, spent £2,000 on FIFA points during the season. It could just go to add. But then I always think to myself, if I buy packs sometimes, not very often now, because I don't see the point of it. You can get most of it playing the game or doing the SBCs. It's the money can just go flying through straight away.
Yeah. But it's one of them. I think we sort of covered a bit about that, and there'll be a lot more to come in the future about these. We've got a few more ideas to string around with FIFA. Obviously, our teams, I think I'll probably say both hit the meta sort of category we're talking about now this year. But I think we can sort of move on a little bit, do a bit of a roundup of sort of last week's / this week's fixtures. I think the most notable ones, there's 2 that sort of stand out. We'll start with one of them. Obviously, you're not going to enjoy it, but it's got to be discussed.
Absolutely brilliant.
Obviously, it was Fulham beating you guys, Liverpool, at home 1-0. I believe it's a 6th loss on the bounce. Yeah. And I think, you know what? It's one of them that we've always said that you're stuck in a rut, but is this more than a rut now?
There's obviously, I don't know what the mentality of the players are, but obviously even Klopp this week said, obviously denied that he wanted to go to take over at Germany. Yeah. I just think at the moment the biggest problem is our front three, as in we can't break down teams at all. Forgetting about the defence, I think the defence have been all right, because you look at that's only 1 goal we're conceding a game if we are losing as such. But our front three, it's one of those things where we haven't got that squad depth of that quality to go, well, saying that, you ain't playing well, we're bringing someone else in.
Yeah.
Because it's every team are doing it to us now, and Klopp needs to find a way of trying to break these teams down, because we've been absolutely awful going forward. It just seems that we're not making that counter attack. How many goals we scored last year on the break, and it just seems like if they're kind of building it up more, and then it's all it is Trent trying to cross it in to 3 midgets in the box.
Yeah, obviously it's a hard one. I think it's something we just sort of do need to discuss. Obviously, I think another topic, obviously, we've discussed before is obviously Gerrard, and I think a report I did see addressed the whole situation to him after, obviously, congratulations to Rangers on actually winning the title after 10 years at the weekend. and it's a remarkable job he's obviously done there. And I think he even sort of come out and said, look, I'm not ready for it.
Yeah, I'm glad he has said that.
And I think that sort of just ushered that door closed as such for now. But obviously the other discussion, sort of game I wanted to discuss was obviously the Manchester derby. And I didn't see it going that way, but United sort of walked that game in the end. I believe it was 2-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2-0. I don't know what City were doing, but we've seen obviously the last couple of weeks how well Luke Shaw's been playing. But it's just one of those days, an off day for City, which they can afford, but in a normal, you'd say, level playing field, they couldn't afford to lose that.
No, it was obviously its first v second there. And obviously, I still can't see City throwing it away. And I don't actually know. I know it was 1-1 when I last checked their game against Southampton. Oh, they're 5-2 up. Yeah, so they're now 5-2 up. So that doesn't really matter. But it's one of them that I think City, I don't know if they got too comfortable. I thought obviously they broke the records countless times there. But I think a big talking point for me in City is, do they need to win the Champions League this season to be deemed as a success?
Would you Champions League and not win the Premiership, or win both?
I would say win both.
If they win both, I don't think there's nothing else Pep could really do there.
No, I think the Champions League is the elusive thing he hasn't won with them. Do I think they can do it? No.
I think one of the ones is going to be tonight. It's probably PSG. They seem to be doing all right, even with the injuries they've been having.
I mean, sort of link it into Champions League, obviously. I think the game last night, I think you obviously watched it as well, the Juventus-Porto game. Probably the best game of football I've watched in years. If you, as a fan, missed it, you missed out, because it had everything. The aggression, the goals. I think it's one of them David versus Goliath games, completely. Juventus obviously did massive favourites in that game, but Porto just didn't go down without a fight. I think you mentioned it off camera as well, as obviously Pepe had an outstanding game last night. I think Ferdinand said it after that, any young central defender coming up, go back and watch his performance in that game. And you know what? I think, is it Chancel and Bemba? I think the ex-Newcastle players there. He had a hell of a game last night as well.
They had a brilliant game, to be honest.
And I think as the commentary said, I think they inspired each other last night. Just them two dominating that back line. That Juventus couldn't do nothing.
Even come to it, Pepe doing over and kick for a clear.
I was saying, I think Pepe's one of them players that is always sort of been more a hothead. He's got that reputation that he loses his head and he's not composed in no moments. But last night, he was the most composed man on that pitch.
Which you're quite surprised. Maybe like it is when you do get older, you've got to start thinking a lot more smarter.
Yeah.
Into things.
Yeah. And I think I sort of mentioned it to you off camera as well. As I think that game last night to me sort of showed that Ronaldo isn't this superhuman as such anymore. We are starting to see he is human. He's not an alien who is a machine. Obviously, I think I said to you, a lot of the game I was just analysing him and I was trying to watch him a lot, was a lot of his touches were really heavy, not what you'd expect of him. His passing was off. He didn't have many opportunities. Obviously, a very close, I'd say, penalty call could have been. I don't think it was. Very, very late on in the extra time.
Or when the keeper went flying in.
Yeah. It could have been close, but that was the only sort of moment he sort of had. And obviously, he led to them going out, obviously jumping and turning his back at the free kick. And I think it's been talking what you were saying is, are we now sort of seeing the end of the golden era of Ronaldo and Messi?
I don't think it'll be maybe 2-3 years, maybe.
It's hard, isn't it? I think, like you said,
Carry on.
I was going to say, like you said off camera as well, is we're potentially seeing a Champions League without, or seeing the quarters without Messi or Ronaldo, unless Barca can do a miracle tonight. I've come back and beat PSG, which they have the potential to do. We saw it happen before, obviously in the same fixture, but this is a different Barcelona side. They're going through a lot of internal changes and stuff like that. And I think it's one of them is, I think I was speaking to Adil, the other co-host, about this, is do you think Ronaldo will leave Juventus in the summer?
Yeah. I don't think he's done the league with them. He's done a Coppa Italia.
I think they've won that.
He has.
I think so.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I think he could happily retire now. I don't see why he'd want to go to the MLS. To be honest, there's nothing for him.
I think he's already pretty much ruled out he wouldn't go there. You know what? Honestly, I think I could see is United for one more year.
I bet Ollie would have him there as well, wouldn't he?
See,
as well.
Cavani looks like he's going to be going.
Yeah, well, we all knew that with high wages and doesn't do much.
So obviously, a potential replacement there for a year, sort of a swan song to his time as a player. Obviously, go back to a place you're loved, he's worshipped for one more year. I can see it.
I don't know. It's quite a hard one.
It is. That's what I can just see. So like, I think United are going to go big in the summer. Obviously, they're already talking about Oblak potentially coming in as a keeper.
For Man United?
Yeah.
Don't need him.
Well, I think De Gea is set to be going.
The thing is, you're going to be looking well over 100 million for Oblak. His buyout clause is 120. I just see why you need him when you've got Henderson that is doing perfectly well at the moment. I know obviously he hasn't got his running game to that, but you could easily have him in your team as number one and be happy with it.
Definitely. I'm sort of linking into this discussion we're sort of saying about, I'd say, the future. I think we are already seeing it as the sort of future two world stars in Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. And I think last night, again, Haaland had a phenomenal game last night. I don't know if you saw the whole incident with the penalty and everything like that. He's just got that determination in him and that drive. That
it's one of those things, except from pace, you'd probably say he's got the same kind of attributes as Ronaldo, as in quite tall, very powerful, can run a bit. But he's probably a complete player, probably the closest you're probably going to get with a Ronaldo as such, I think, at this time.
I don't think there's probably, bar Lewandowski, a better, more complete striker in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
I think Lewandowski, even though he got well, I think a lot of people sort of criminally forget about him and don't bring him into the conversation. But I think bar him, obviously Mbappe is a bit different. I see him, he can play on the wing a lot more.
They all front three, can't he? So
yeah. But I think there we're seeing the sort of future two stars to replace Messi and Ronaldo.
Everyone thought, obviously, only a few years ago it'd be Neymar, but I don't unless he's rolling about on the pitch. He ain't doing anything.
One of them, I think he made the worst decision leaving Barca.
Yeah, because he wanted to steal the spotlight, but didn't realise Mbappe was there.
And it's one of them, obviously, I know he was in Messi's shadow, but all he had to do was wait a few more years, being alongside learning from arguably the best sort of winger / forward ever.
you look at that, obviously, when we except from with Mo and Bobby when he was on form and Mane, you look at the comparisons with Messi, Neymar, and Suarez. What a six there, to be honest, for a front three.
Yeah, and like you said there, Neymar doesn't probably even come into the conversation as a top 5 in the world at the moment.
No. Well, did you see today? Apparently he's injured at the moment.
Is it Lacey's birthday? His sister's birthday, isn't it? Yeah, it's that time of the year. Don't surprise me. He's just one of them players. I think he sort of ruined himself with his ability taking that step. The money got to his head. I don't know, but it's a hard one to sort of say there.
That hunger went, I think, as such.
I think like the hunger's correct there. I
like
think
a teen star of being, you reckon he's obviously a Ballon d'Or winner. He's getting this paycheck each week. He's got plenty of money. What's stopping him? It's not exactly PSG rid of him, are they, if he don't want to go.
No, I think I think you summed it up there with the hunger. Like, he's comfortable at PSG. He's getting paid in 300-400k a week. He wins the league every year. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, he got to the Champions League final last year. It's what's the next step for him now?
The thing is, where could you see him if he ever went anywhere now?
Because to me, he's done it. He's been at Barca and Real, arguably the two biggest.
City or Madrid.
Yeah, exactly. Or what he's like Bayern Munich and that sort of area.
Go to Germany. I don't think it suits his lifestyle.
No.
I don't think he'd be willing to spend that kind of money on him either.
No. I think topic-wise, I've got everything. Is there anything you want to
add? We've still got obviously that giveaway going.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll retweet it tonight, which obviously will be Friday.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think we've got too much. Obviously, give it a couple of weeks, and hopefully, could be hearing from a couple of you on chat.
Yes, of course. Like was I said, the giveaway is obviously on Instagram as well. We sort of partnered up with sort of regular guest Tom, who comes on sort of to congratulate him hitting 250 followers on the account. We sort of done a giveaway in partnership and sort of a way to give back to you guys for all the support for season 2. We can't thank you enough. It has been phenomenal. The growth we've sort of seen the last few months. Our channel has sort of just blown up massively, which is amazing, and for all the support. We wanted to give back to you guys. So go check out the giveaway, and there'll be a lot more to come. And like Warren's mentioned, he's got his gaming channel coming. So sort of a way to get you guys involved a lot more. But for this week, thank you very much, and we'll see you guys soon.